CJ here, live at DC Black Film Festival. Wow. And I am here with.
Angel Hobbs, director of the Call short film.
So might as well just bury the lead here. You're short off the break, just bam. You just get it full tilt. Was that the purpose to just try to get people off the break engaged?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely wanted to hook people in because I think it's one of those things where you see like, oh, like what's about to happen here, and then you're like, but here, this is where we're going. And I also think it was cool artistically to just see the complete opposite of like somebody's pleasure to somebody's pain, like to see that complete journey, same space, same room, but how you can go from somewhere where you're having the most pleasurable experience to the most painful. So yeah.
Yeah, because I just had a comment. I was like, that was like a very tonal whiplash. Like, all right, okay, let's see where this goes, And like you said, it's just like, okay, so now we're going to here now. So just like for her, and I thought it was probably interesting in the fact that it went from that, and then she is like transported to the actual like inside, I guess, the telephone or the operator and stuff. So how did you go about the concept for this, for what you were trying to do?
Yeah, so it's from life experience, and I felt like I had this situation happen to me where my brother was arrested, and he called me, and when you're on the phone, it genuinely feels like you're having this out of body experience. Like it feels like you're being transported to a place in time that's not where you're at. Simply because of the context of the situation of having a loved one that you can't reach, but also getting on the phone with like this pre-recorded machine as if you're talking to someone from Disneyland. You're like, this is not that situation. And I really wanted to like show. For a while, I thought about keeping her in the room, but I didn't feel like it showed really how jarring it is, and like those two things together. So for me, I've never been one to like really follow the rules of like screenwriting and filmmaking. I was like, how can I just break that wall and just like literally transport her somewhere else? And so I just wrote it how I felt in that moment, and it came across just being a different space, a different room, and really showing like that being in the middle of like someone that you really love, and also this person that's looking to profit off of your pain.
Yeah, kind of like the middleman.
Yeah, yeah.
So you have, like I said, her brother is in there with other people that are actually in there. So was that kind of like the overall purpose? You didn't want it to make it kind of a one-on-one thing. You actually wanted to show everybody there.
Yeah, I did. I wanted to show everything, and I also wanted to challenge the audience to think about where we get our image of what prisoners and inmates look like, because everyone seems to have an image of them, but very few people have, stepped foot inside of an actual prison. So it makes you question, like, where are you getting your image of what these people look like? And when you are afraid for someone who is behind bars, who are you scared of and why? And I wanted to kind of call into question why we view these men as monsters. And that was my goal for the end of the film, showing like these are vulnerable black men, even though we're trying to portray them as like these, these hardened inmates that are gonna jump me. Exactly. You're right. You're like there are some.
There is variety. It's not like a monolith.
Yeah, exactly. And so, what does it look like to take them out of their, orange jumpsuits? What does it look like to see them as vulnerable, scared men in bad situations? And so, I wanted to kind of call the audience to question why we would accept just seeing these people as folks who would like stand up and jump this guy who's recently incarcerated.
So, with this advent of where we can sit there and film things now with the way the internet is and YouTube and all these things, do you feel your short is a thing where it's like, oh, just watch on YouTube and it's you're able to kind of get it out there versus before where it's like it's tough, like you have to go to this film festival to get it and stuff.
Absolutely. I feel like the online presence of all kinds of short films from YouTube to Vimeo to there's just even a lot of like smaller companies that simply host shorts that you can log into and watch. I think it's made it really accessible for folks. I think one of the niches is like a lot of film festivals don't want you to have it online yet. So that's an interesting, it's like a cat and mouse thing. But I definitely feel like it's exciting to know that when this run is over, you can put it on the web and people can access it and see it. And, you know, even outside of just like my film, other folks' films that are more educational, you can take that into the classroom. You can really expose it to people who won't be at a festival and see it. So I think that's exciting.
Yeah, so how did you go about nailing? I mean, you said it was based off your real life and stuff. So how were you able to nail that kind of emotional content with the brother and sister and stuff? Because I know that's always a tough thing, whether it's a movie or TV show, to make it look believable.
Yeah. I think I just had great actors. Ibn Dixon and Ebony Davis really like met that same day of shooting and like really came together and practiced the lines and worked on it to really make it feel very familial. And I think that's definitely all them. Like all credit goes to them. But I also think, you know, it's something that an actor can jump into. I think everyone, even if you don't have a brother or sister directly, everyone has that person in their life that they can connect with and that they love. And I remember when I was speaking with Ebony about her ability to like really provoke all of this emotion and asking where that comes from, she's like, I'm thinking of things that I've gone through and I'm thinking of my own situations. And so I think they just do a really good job of like bringing that emotion to the set, even if it's not their actual brother or actual sister.
Yeah, because I mean, you could tell, like, you could see kind of like the machine kind of working in through her head, like she's processing. 'Cause like you said, you go from pleasure, and then it's just like, hold up, you're in jail. Like, what happened here? Like, so I mean, you know, what are kind of like the next things you want to do after this? Are you kind of like branching out into bigger things, or you just kind of like baby stepping it through?
Yeah. So this was my first short film. So for me, I want to make another short film. So I'm working on another wacky short film, which is going to be called Taboo, and we're going to be filming at the end of this month, very soon. And so after that, my goal is to then move into like features. I just want to kind of dip my toe in a little bit more, and ideally maybe get into some writers' rooms. I think there's so much cool content that's like kind of wacky right now, and think of like Black Mirror and Weird City on YouTube, and there's a lot of space for creatives to kind of showcase their dramatic writing skills, whereas as in addition to like their weirdness. And so I'm hoping to really just like follow that path and see where it takes me.
Now, you say you wanted to kind of get into doing the writing room stuff. Is that something that you've always wanted to do, or is it kind of like, well, I kind of do it on the side?
Yeah, it's more. I've always wanted to do it. I don't think I realized for a very long time that it was a career that people could do and make money from. And so for me, like now, really dipping into film, my background's actually in tech, and I was an engineer for a very long time. And so for me, it's like really, really cool to kind of see this other world. And so I've been taking a lot of classes, enrolled at NYU, and just trying to like figure out what does this space look like and how could I see myself as like a full time writer.
Like, I mean, since you mentioned it and stuff, I have to ask this last thing and stuff. How does one go from like, okay, you're an engineer, and now you want to dive into that? Like, was that just kind of like, you're kind of getting tired of being an engineer kind of thing, or was it just, I mean,
I think tech is awesome. There's so many cool things happening in tech, but I think sometimes it can become very repetitive and mundane. And I think for me initially, I was just looking for an outlet to be creative, which was something I didn't necessarily get to do in my 9 to 5, and then really got addicted. And I think, you know, luckily working for a very long time. And even when I look at like Ava DuVernay's story, how she's like, I worked, I saved, I put my own money into my film. And when I finally got into Sundance, I was like, okay, I think I can do this full time. I feel like that's like a really good path to follow for folks who don't necessarily come from that background. And also, I feel like I think artists are multifaceted, and sometimes we don't get that credit. And I think everybody has something that those worlds don't collide. But then when you look in the grand scheme of things, I do think it's my tech background that makes me think of these like weird, strange worlds or create these interesting dilemmas. And so for me, yeah, I think anyone can transition. I just think you have to really apply yourself and figure out what is it that you want to do in this space and why do you want to do it.
cool. Well, we'll definitely be keeping a lookout for your future works and stuff. So I definitely appreciate you talking to us today. So, yeah, this is CJ here at DC Black Film Festival, and we're out.